So I feel like this is just something that we do a lot, and we'll accomplish this too, just like we've accomplished everything before. But we're smart players, great character, and we'll figure it out these next two.
All right, so after the game, Francis Fournier said this: they're better individually, but they can be beaten as a team. Shady. Acho, who's most to blame for the Team USA loss?
Well, hands down, it's got to be France, because France at this point is just better. Let's not forget, in the 2019 FIBA World Championship, who beat the U.S.? France. So who's got 5 NBA players on their roster? France. Who's got guys who are big and physical? France. France right now at this point is better. And Rudy Gobert said it best at the end of the game as well. He said, we're not surprised. We're not surprised. This is step one, but we're not going to be satisfied until we have that thing hanging around our neck, which is a gold medal. So France is at this point better than the United States at this game. It's a different game. This isn't the NBA. There are 10-minute quarters. Fouls are called differently. Even the way the game is played is called differently, right? You only have 5 fouls, not 6. You can move the ball off the rim, even though it would be goaltending in the NBA. This is a different game. And France at this point, they're like the bad guys. I love Fournier's response. He says they're better individually, but we are better as a team. And I love that mindset that France has. So we should not be surprised at this point. We're sitting here saying, how did we lose? How did we lose? The last 8 games that the United States has played with NBA players, we're 3-5. So let's stop being surprised. France at this point is the better team, and they've got their eyes on the gold.
It's a fair point when it comes to France, Sam, but to me, this loss on Gregg Popovich more than France, because we're not having this conversation if the United States played any kind of defense and blocked out guys on the boards. I mean, for crying out loud, it looked like a layup line because they weren't blocking out Rudy Gobert and also Fournier, who's getting to the rim, and then Evan Fournier was knocking down shots in the second half. He hasn't played that well in the NBA, much less in the international competition. But if you're Gregg Popovich, he's trying to be the San Antonio Spurs of international basketball, and that is flat out not going to work. It is a fair point when you mention the last eight games involving international competition. They're 3-5, and that's all on the watch of Gregg Popovich since he was named coach of the USA national teams in 2017. But when you have a bunch of dudes on your basketball team named Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and Jason Tatum, it is completely unconscionable that you allow a team in France to outscore you 16-2. So Gregg Popovich better figure this out, that it's all about making adjustments as a coach. You can say you can put on the players, you got to be better defensively, but it's on you, the coach, to put together a better game plan. How do you allow Rudy Gobert to just dominate you on the inside? I don't care if he's bigger and taller than anybody else. He doesn't do that against guys in the NBA offensively, so there's no reason for him to do that against Bam Adebayo and Draymond Green, who know how to defend him. To me, this is all on Gregg Popovich. And let's be fair. If the United States had won this game, we're not having this conversation. There's no doubt about that. But because people are so stunned, because everybody else has caught up to the United States. And this wasn't just a yesterday thing. Remember, this has gone back to 2004, where the United States team won the bronze medal. 2008, Spain gave them all they could in a gold medal game before the late Kobe Bryant hit great shots down the stretch. So, yeah, it's gotten to the point now that people should not be stunned when the United States loses. But it's the way they're going about it, especially yesterday, should bother anybody. And to me, that's more on Gregg Popovich than what France was doing. That's not to slight France. But if you're Gregg Popovich, you can't try to out-NBA people or one-on-one people in international basketball. The referees aren't going to allow you to do it, and better coach teams that have been together aren't going to allow you to do that as well. To me, Gregg Popovich is the most to blame for this loss because he did not make the right kind of adjustments, unlike the French coach who made those adjustments and made that work for France yesterday.
So Freddie, last I checked, maybe I'm wrong on this, right? My time might be off, but the last I checked, Gregg Popovich is not out there shooting buckets. Gregg Popovich is not out there playing defense. Gregg Popovich is not out there trying to make passes and make hustle plays. Kevin Durant is, Zach LaVine is, Chris Middleton. These guys, obviously Chris Middleton didn't play in the second half. But so he's not out there. Gregg Popovich is not out there. Gregg Popovich didn't have an opportunity to go take the lead with a wide open three-pointer, as you saw Kevin Durant did in the fourth quarter with less than a minute left. Gregg Popovich went in the corner with a wide open three-pointer, as you saw Drew Holiday miss with less than a minute left. Gregg Popovich cannot coach hustle. You got to have guys who can hustle, guys who can get after it. And at this point, you're not seeing the United States team really believe that they want it more than other teams. France wanted it more. Look at the hustle plays by Luawu Cabaret. Look at the hustle plays by Evan Fournier. Look at the hustle plays by everybody on that France roster, including Rudy Gobert. It's a different kind of game that we're watching. It's not the NBA. It's not iso ball. It's not small ball. You got some big, bad dudes on that France team, and they are dudes.
All right, tell me this, guys. Is Team USA winning gold, Freddie?
They're the most talented team still left, so they should win the gold, and I believe they're going to win the gold because I go back to what Drew Holiday said, that we're intelligent guys, we're going to figure this out, which means that when I heard that was his way of saying that we're taking this out of Gregg Popovich's hands, because if we don't trust that he can lead us the right way, then it's going to have to be on us. And whatever friction that could potentially be there, you got enough intelligent guys on that basketball team that'll say, we got to go out there and win it for us, because maybe we can't trust that guy to put us in the right position to make the kind of plays that we need to make. I still think they win gold, but it's going to be the players doing it, not the players and Gregg Popovich.
Sam?
Yeah. I don't see the U.S. winning gold. I see France winning gold, and here's why. I love what Drew Holiday said. He said we're smart players. We work hard. We're physical. But you know what he didn't say? He didn't say we're the best players. He didn't say we're the most talented players. You know who's not there? LeBron James, not there. Steph Curry, not there. James Harden, not there. So yes, they're going to work hard. Yes, they're going to be intelligent and be smart. But the best players are not actually there. Some of the best players, like Luka Doncic, are putting 47 up for Slovenia. That's what I'm saying. So the game has changed, and I think that France is the team to beat based on what they did 2 years ago and also last night.
What French premier paid you off to be a personal basketball representative for the French basketball team, Sam Macho? That's why I want to know, because it seems like all of a sudden you're changing allegiances. Are you a real American, Sam Macho? What's wrong with you?
Just watch. Hey, just watch the game. All I do is watch the game. I just watch the game. I just watch the game. I put the film on, right? I got to watch the film, and so people would love to hear me say the U.S. is going to win. It's going to be easy. Sure. We've been saying that for 2 years. The U.S. is 3-5. I got to stop saying that. Let's start being real. Let's start watching the film, watching the games, and making adjustments.
Fournier led all scorers with 28 points. Team USA takes on Iran on Wednesday. Still to come, gentlemen, on First Take, the NFL's vaccine policy. Might it be a divide in the locker room? We'll find out why Acho says absolutely. Plus, speaking of a divide, Deshaun Watson reported about that situation, and will his presence divide that locker room? Stay tuned.
They can go out there and they can operate and they can play well. But for me, the biggest factor of all was the fact that the French team looked like a normal basketball team with a pecking order offensively, other guys filling roles. For Team USA, it's really a my turn, your turn type of offensive flow, and that's going to create some problems. They will get better each and every day of this tournament. The longer they're together, the more time they have together. You had some guys that just joined the team, haven't even practiced with them yet, really, coming from the NBA Finals. Once they incorporate everybody day after day and get a little bit more sense of desperation defensively, I think you're going to see Team USA continue to get stronger and stronger. Certainly, they should win their next 2 pool games without a problem. And then you get into that single elimination format where they will be tested in trying to win a gold medal.
Yes, certainly. I mean, you talk about what France did so well and how their scoring was just evenly balanced and it was working together. They finished the game on a 16-2 run. I mean, that's how you close out a game. How does USA combat when other teams are doing things like that? What do they improve on when really a team is just dominating one side of the game like that?
I think a couple of things they need to rely on. First is they need to understand that there's more to the game than the three-point line. And if you take a look at the way they closed it out, there were possessions when it looked like they were hunting the three-point shot. And I think they're going to serve themselves well by understanding they're going to be able to beat their man off the dribble pretty much any time they want to. Play some more drive and kick game. Get into the mid-range area of the floor. Get to the rim. Don't fall in love with the three-point shot. That's not necessarily the strength of this team. And if they do that, I think they're going to be in good shape. Because I don't think that these teams are going to be able to keep Team USA in front of them off the dribble, but they really got away from that as they got deeper into this game and they settled. I think oftentimes, even if it's an open shot, I think it's a settle sometimes because they can beat their man off the dribble, dominate the mid-range area of the floor, and get to the rim. And I think the other thing, defensively, they need to understand their athletic ability is their biggest asset. their quickness, their length, their ability to recover, their ability to guard the three-point line, that you only saw one real desperate spurt out of this team, and it was at the start of the fourth quarter. And it ended up getting them a 7-point lead. Now, they weren't able to close the deal late. Their offense really let them down. But I think that desperation needs to start with the opening tip and understand they're going to have to work for 4 quarters against these teams. But ultimately, their speed should be something that disrupts any team's ability to run their offense. France looked very comfortable the entire game, particularly when the game was on the line. That's when they looked their most at ease. And as a result, they get the win.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that desperation, we're going to see that on display, no doubt about it, Wednesday when Team USA plays Iran. Tim Legler, thank you for helping us make sense of something that I think all of us were looking at, like, what is going on? So you're amazing. We appreciate you stopping by. Hey, the U.S. will get a couple of days off, rest, recuperate, and then they will play Iran Wednesday at 12:40 a.m. Eastern. Then a matchup with the Czech Republic, finishing off group play on Saturday. And if the U.S. advances out of